So tonight on the internet, we're going to be talking about the most peculiar emergency line calls that have ever been made.
Ooh, excited. Hello, Nightlings, and welcome to Goodnight Internet, the nightly internet show that's on the internet tonight.
How are you doing then?
Oh, I'm fine, actually. I'm fine. I've not experienced any personal emergencies today, unlike the people we're about to have a look at.
It's good to know. Right, so first things first, this is inspired by an article I found on Cracked earlier.
Okay.
Which is called The 5 Weirdest 911 Calls Ever Made.
Okay.
The first one we'll be talking about is from that article.
And then you've sourced your own unique calls.
Kind of. I found other stuff that have... or people that have just talked about them and discussed them. We will add some links into the end of the video.
So you have filtered the internet for only the finest emergency call
things.
The
funniest emergency calls I could
find.
Cool. And the weirdest ones.
Okay.
Now, these are real calls to emergency lines. I do want to say we're not advocating prank calls to them. It's a stupid, dumb thing to do. All the people on these lists made actual, genuine, what they thought were emergencies.
Okay, yeah. So prank calls are stupid. You could put someone's life at risk.
Exactly. So,
and you suck.
Yeah, those aren't funny.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of explanation of the scenario.
Yeah.
And then ask you what happened next. Okay. And then I'll tell you what happened if you get it wrong.
So I've got to try and guess what happens next.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, cool. Like a spot the ball competition, but with more death.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So police in suburban Detroit were responding to a call from a woman who was yelling, "Stop, no," over and over again, followed by repeated by a very loud noise. Upon arriving, they found out exactly what the cause was. What was that cause?
A dog that wouldn't get down.
No, that would equally be quite good.
No, bad dog. No, stop.
No.
Was someone about to run her over very slowly with one of those big steamroller-y things they flatten concrete with?
That'd have been quite impressive.
Stop! No! Still stop! Still no!
No. So they arrived, found the woman there, safe and sound, perfectly fine, and not particularly distraught. There was a particular stench in the room, though. Her partner had been having some guttural issues, shall we say, and had been consistently farting at her, which she was yelling "stop, no" to. The loud noise that the person in the neighbouring apartment could hear from outside in the street was the man farting. So
it wasn't an emergency. It was a digestive emergency.
It was a digestive emergency, yeah.
Okay. So they found out the call was full of hot air then?
Yes, yeah. Okay, so we go to Canada now.
Okay. I like Canada.
So a woman heard a large amount of banging and shouting from a neighbouring apartment. It's called 911. The police got to the apartment and were banging on the door for an incredibly long time before it was answered.
Okay.
What had happened?
Edward Norton's imaginary friend was instituting Project Mayhem and building bunk beds for his army of shaven-headed space monkeys.
Yes, have you read my article?
Sorry, I caught that one earlier.
No.
Lots of banging and shouting.
Yes.
Were they having particularly loud intercourse?
No.
Were they...
So it was a lone man in the apartment.
A lone man in the apartment. Was he putting up some IKEA bookshelves?
No, but that would have equally worked, yeah.
Cool. What was happening?
Well, it turns out his backsides are quite a regular emergency for the police. He had some toilet issues and was literally just straining on the toilet so loud and getting so frustrated with his constipation. He was screaming and banging on the doors.
Did any of the people in any of your emergencies not have a backside-related emergency?
Yes, we're going to move away from backsides.
Okay, it's cool. That narrows the options down. Did the guy survive, or was he constipated to death, a la Elvis?
Well, unfortunately, the article didn't go in to explain whether any fibre rations were issued for the poor man, so we don't know.
I really hope. I mean, if you're on the toilet for that long, I mean, there is normally a plunger nearby. Just spin it round.
I suppose that is a solution, yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's tried that. Okay. We go to Shelby County in Ohio.
Okay.
And a dispatcher working that night received a call that was clearly a butt dial.
Okay.
That is where the backside related element is fine.
They hadn't butt dialed it while on the toilet.
No. So they received a butt dial, which is quite a common thing apparently. But they stayed on the line long enough to find something else out. What was happening?
They were having sex?
No.
Okay, I've got a dirty mind. They were straining on the toilet. You've already said no. Shelby County. I'm going to draw on all my knowledge that I know of Shelby County, and they were trying to crossbreed a tortoise with a wasp. in a slight misunderstanding of the term Shelby.
I wish that had happened.
They were playing Mario Kart.
No.
Okay. No, I've got no idea.
No, they were breaking into somebody's home, which sounds horrible.
Okay.
But they literally dialed the police while getting in. So the police go to the place.
Yeah.
And he goes into hiding. Unfortunately, he left the phone on for too long with the dispatcher, and so his ingenious hiding place of a wardrobe was given away when his low battery alarm started going off, and the police led him to his location.
Oh dear! Yeah, put everything on silent before you rob them. Why am I giving people tips on how to steal more efficiently? Don't steal things. I think actually that's an interesting one though, because most mobile phones, if you dial, like if you press a certain combination or hit the screen, you can get it to call the emergency services without having to unlock it.
There is quite a lot of occasions when emergency dispatch handlers will have to call somebody back to see if it was a genuine emergency. It happens quite a lot, actually.
Yeah. I once rang my dad when I was 14 and I was with my friends. I spent a long time saying how I was dissatisfied with my life at home while my dad listened to the entire thing in a petty revenge of running all my credit down, so I had no money on my phone for a month.
That's quite clever.
I deserved the hell out of that, to be honest. Respect your parents, kids. Unless they're horrible, then don't. Like if your dad's Hitler, don't him.
Okay. So we've got another late night call to dispatchers.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme.
Yes, it's normally quite late at night for some reason. Yeah, but they were calling about spotting a fire. Now in the area they're in, it was basically fire season in an incredibly fire-prone area.
Okay,
so there's a lot of wildfires happening in the area. So the dispatcher's keeping online, trying to find the location. So it's somewhere east of the city. The caller is getting more and more panicked. Okay. It is growing in size. What is actually going on?
So there's a fire that's growing in size.
Yes.
Is it, was there sex on fire?
No, Kings of Leon weren't about at the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Kings of Leon, but your sex is on fire, I mean, you're not gonna leave behind an heir. There's gonna be a lot of upheaval in Leon when they're trying to work out who takes the throne when the burnt genital king is dead.
It's one way of overthrowing a king, I suppose.
Yeah, to don't destroy the king, destroy his lineage. Cook his seed within his sack and leave him barren and childless. Is it like a really tiny fire, like something in their bin, or is it like a really ridiculously massive fire and the entire world was burning?
Technically, it's a really massive fire.
Okay, are they scared because the sun was rising?
Yes. So, as they're getting the details of the fire service, who's being called at this point in time and head towards the location, the caller looks up, says, "Oh, I'm really sorry. This is the first time I've worked late nights and I've never seen the sun rising before. It's just the sun."
That's both moronic and tragic at the same time. I mean, like, have you not seen the sunrise?
No.
Oh,
yeah, bless.
They need a hug and possibly a subscription to National Geographic.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, next one then. So somebody's called the dispatchers again.
I think all your stories are going to start this.
No, there is one that doesn't, but we might not get to that one.
Ooh, shocking twist.
Yes. Saying that they saw the dead body of a young woman. They think in their early 20s, wearing nothing but shorts.
Okay.
Gave a detailed description, hair colour, skin colour, body position, the whole bit, and said that it was side by the side of the interstate.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a big deal. Fresh murder scene, seemingly. Somebody's got a lot of detail. So the police sent out en masse.
Fairly pronto.
And, really, really quickly. What was actually happening?
A bunch of plastic bags and some discarded shorts.
Not far off. Not far off.
Cool.
Not far off. As all the police are heading towards there, the guy calls back saying, "I checked again."
It's not a sunbathing woman, is it? Oh, okay.
It's a dead deer. He announced so the guy announced over the radio that don't bother going to the dispatch. It's just a dead deer. Which one the officer sarcastically called back with shorts on.
The thing is, after the success of his film, things went to Bambi's head and he started buying a lot of designer clothes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Poor little guy. You know, I mean, he's an orphan. What are you going to do?
All right.
No one to help him manage his money.
More animal-related mayhem then.
Yeah.
So a guy calls about a bobcat in front of the library.
Okay.
Out of breath, and that it was intimidating people and they couldn't enter or exit the building.
Okay.
This call went straight through to an actual officer. So they ran straight to the building to find out if anybody's injured or if anything gone wrong.
Yep.
What was in front of the building?
The Jamaican bobsleigh team, and he'd got the word wrong.
They are quite intimidating, yes.
Was it actually just a little cat?
Yeah, just a little tabby tortie. He also gets asked when he's injured, expected to see this bobcat there, and it is just a tabby tortie sat on the bench, not even outside the front of the building. They walked over to, just stroked it, rolled over and asked for its tummy to be rubbed.
Oh.
So which guy replied with, "Oh, someone's domesticated it."
Again, a subscription to National Geographic. It will help with all your nature and animal-based needs, be they flora or fauna.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by them or anything.
We could be.
I read one the other day for the first time in years, and I learned a little bit about space.
Yeah. That's not National Geographic.
Space is part of geography. It's a place.
It's technically sort of geography tend to cover like what's on the Earth rather than what's outside of it.
It tends to, but sometimes you've got to think outside the box, Aaron.
What, the little yellow box?
The ozone box that may or may not exist anymore, given how much deodorant we spray.
Yeah, I do.
Politics.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's brought us to an end of my.
Okay, I was expecting another one. We kind of petered out a little bit there.
Yeah,
that was fun and interesting. Have you ever made a prank call?
Yeah, I used to ring up a taxi company quite a lot.
Yeah,
and then reiterate their name at them as this is the location I wanted to go to.
Okay,
and then where from.
Okay.
I was clearly quite drunk and thought this was hilarious, and this was a running gag for a friend. Yeah. It wasn't funny. Things
are different, and like things that aren't funny when you're an adult are funnier when you're 27, 28, aren't they, Aaron?
Yeah. It was a dark time.
We used to have an insurance company, I think it was Admiral Insurance, whose phone number was 0800 28 2820, and they had a picture of an owl. So me and my friend used to ring them up and make owl noises at them down the phone.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we were idiots.
Yeah. As you tend to be when prank calling. I have to have a big thing about hassling cold callers.
Okay.
I have pretended I've just woken up out of a coma from the accidents.
Oh, so when they say, have you been involved in an accident?
Like, is that why I'm here in this bed? What's going on? Where am I? Can you tell me what happened?
That's terrible.
Genuinely no way to believe it. I also made the woman from Free Mobile sing, and probably nobody remembers this, but back in the early 2000s, he used to have a little jingle.
This is horrible. Like, did you kidnap her and put her in a hole and make her rub the lotion on her skin while she sang?
She rang me, wanted me to take out a Free Mobile contract, and I said, I'd take out the contract. She sang me the song. So she sang me the song.
Did you take out the contract?
No.
You're a I don't say this lightly, you're a very naughty boy.
So are cold callers.
On that confessional note, that brings us to the end of our emergency services special. If you've ever made a funny phone call, if you know of any more emergency calls about silly things, pop them in the comments. We might use them again in a later episode and give you a bit of a shout out. If you really like what we do, you can subscribe, you can you can find us not only on YouTube but on Facebook, on Twitter, and on that Instagram thing what the young people have these days. It's pictures, mostly pictures. If you like pictures, it's great. Go for that. And if you really, really like what we do, then the best way to help us out and say thank you is to share it with someone else who you think would enjoy it. Until next time, good night, Internet.
Good night.